Hi everyone. Another podcast is out today. Today I wanted to talk about death and how people don't talk about it at all. This video might be sad for those who don't think about death often, but I personally think that talking about death and just thinking about death, I think it is very important for us just to live a normal life, to live a happy life, to remember what do we want to do in life and do things that we want to do, and just to think about what do you want to do at all. I feel like in my past I didn't think about death, and I thought that death is just something virtual, that death doesn't really exist, because people don't talk about death as much as we should. I think we should talk about death a lot. I think that talking about death is the main thing that keeps us mentally alive. When we don't think about death, we believe that it doesn't exist and it doesn't concern us. That death is something that happens to other people, not us. Death is something that happens only to people who go to war or to elder people. Like, how could death possibly exist in the 21st century? No, death is not for me. It was something from the past. I am the child of the future. Death doesn't concern me. No, we're not that far away in future. I don't think we'll ever be, to hope that we could be immortal. We are mortal, everyone. We all are going to die. And because we don't think about it much, we consider these thoughts to be bad, death to be bad. But actually, it's not quite right. There's this video that I love. A girl there, a woman, she says that death is just like a part of life. Everything you see on earth, everything has its own processes of being born, living, and dying, disappearing from earth. This is just a part of life, but our egos personalize it, and we consider ourselves to be special cases, but we're really not. This is sad because, most of people enjoy living and nobody wants to die. Nobody wants the closest people to die. This is of course sad, but it's not a reason not to talk about it. It is sad, but we should embrace the sadness and embrace the fact that we are going to die, because this is the only way we could appreciate living now. My parents like to close the topic as soon as the topic concerns death, as if we don't talk about death, then it doesn't happen to us. Or if we don't talk about bad things, then bad things won't happen to us. I think it doesn't work that way, and I think that it works exactly the opposite way. If we don't know about stuff, we wouldn't know how to behave if that stuff happens to us. The same thing about talking about sex. If you don't talk about sex with a child, he might be in a risk of sexual violence because he doesn't know what is considered normal and what is not. And the same thing concerns many topics which are taboo for some reason, especially in post-Soviet countries where I'm from. I didn't pretty much think about who I want to become till I was 21 years old, which was 2 years ago. I don't know, because I was at first going to school, then I went to university, then I had to work 2 years after university, as a duty to my university. And only when I finished all the duties that I had to the government, education, for the first time in my life, I just started thinking about, what do I want to be? The duties are over. How am I going to live? And this is sad because I've already spent 21 years of my life without thinking about that. I just was floating in a flow of things that I didn't even think about why I need them, or what do I want to do myself, where do I want to swim on my own. I was just in the flow, having absolutely no clue about what I am. And after the flow was over, I was terrified because my life is passing. Death is coming closer. And I still am not living. I'm just floating somewhere and I have no idea where. So this was the very first moment when I started just thinking, where should I go? This is the moment when I started thinking about death. Probably also for the first time in my life. When you're in a flow of someone else's path, you don't think about your own path. You don't think about death. You don't think about your desires. And I never did. I got so terrified of death, and even not of the death itself, but of not living. I didn't feel like I was living when I was in this flow. So I started living for the first time after I turned 21 years old. And that felt amazing. And I think the key to start living is to think about death. When I hear stories about other people's deaths, these are the moments where I have motivation to live at the highest point. At these moments, I understand what I want to do when I hear about death. It is sad, of course it is sad, but sad doesn't mean bad. I think this is really important to understand. If something is sad, it doesn't mean we should avoid it. We have to feel all the sides of emotion, not to avoid some of them. And death is sad, but it is not bad. We, as thinking humans, all we can do about death is just to accept it and to do things that we can control and try not to worry about things that we cannot control. Death is something we cannot control, but we can control our lives. I am going to die. You are going to die. And this is not an insult. It's just a fact. A sad fact, but it's not bad. If we feel sad about our death, maybe we should feel even happier about our lives.